Debbie Diamond was born on May 1, 1965, in San Fernando Valley, California, a region that would later become known for producing some of the most recognizable stars in film and entertainment. Growing up in Los Angeles during the 1970s exposed her to the city's vibrant nightlife, music, and underground culture. From an early age, she had a flair for standing out. Friends remembered her as outgoing, independent, and quick-witted, qualities that would later define her public persona. As a teenager, Debbie was drawn to performing and the idea of being in the spotlight. With her tall, striking frame, sharp features, and magnetic energy, she carried a presence that could not easily be overlooked. By the mid-1980s, she found herself stepping into a new career path that would soon make her one of the most talked-about figures of her generation. Rise to fame. Debbie Diamond first appeared on the scene in 1987 to 1988, and she was immediately noticed. Unlike many who entered cautiously, she embraced her career with boldness. Her style was distinct, confident, edgy, and larger than life. By 1988, she had already won the industry's attention by being named Best New Starlet at the AVN Awards, a recognition that placed her at the forefront of rising talent. The award marked the beginning of a career that would span well over a decade and influence an entire era of film. Debbie quickly became one of the most in-demand performers of the late 1980s and early 1990s. She worked with leading studios and alongside many of the most celebrated figures of the period. What set her apart was not only her look but her ability to dominate the screen. She had a natural ability to draw attention, blending glamour with raw energy. Screen persona and style. Debbie Diamond was often described as a force of nature on screen. Tall, statuesque, with jet black hair and piercing features, she had a commanding presence. She was unafraid to experiment, which made her stand out among her peers. Where many performers of the era leaned into softer or more glamorous personas, Debbie represented something different. She was fierce, unapologetic, and assertive, qualities that resonated with fans and colleagues alike. Her strong personality translated into her performances, making her one of the most recognizable and admired stars of her time. Career highlights. Throughout the late 1980s and 1990s, Debbie Diamond appeared in hundreds of productions, spanning a wide variety of roles. Some of her most noted titles included Black Diamond, 1989, where her screen presence earned her critical praise. House of Dreams, 1990, a film often cited as one of her finest performances. Debbie Diamond's Diamond Collection series, which showcased her versatility. Collaborations with well-known directors of the era, who valued her professionalism and ability to adapt to challenging roles. She became a frequent cover star on magazines, photo spreads, and promotional campaigns, further cementing her image as a top figure in her industry. Awards and recognition. Debbie Diamond received multiple awards during her career. Her first major accolade was Best New Starlet, 1988, which was followed by several performance-based honors in the early 1990s. She was later inducted into the AVN Hall of Fame, one of the highest recognitions for a performer, ensuring her legacy would be preserved in the history of the industry. Comparisons and influence. Debbie Diamond was often compared to contemporaries such as Ginger Lynn, Ashlyn Gear, Nina Hartley, and Diana Lauren, yet she stood apart for her fierceness and commanding energy. Where others embodied approachable glamour, Debbie brought a harder edge that appealed to fans looking for intensity and personality. Her influence could also be seen in how later generations of performers approached their careers. Many cited her as a trailblazer who broke molds and proved that women could lead with confidence, style, and individuality. Personal life. Away from the screen, Debbie Diamond was known for guarding her privacy. While she occasionally appeared at fan conventions and public events during the height of her career, she largely kept her personal life out of the spotlight. In interviews, she projected the same confidence and humor she displayed on screen. Colleagues often remarked on her sharp wit, professionalism, and her ability to bring energy to any set she worked on. By the late 1990s, Debbie gradually stepped back from the industry. After more than a decade of work, She chose to retire and pursue life outside of the public eye. Later years and legacy. Although she retired from performing, Debbie Diamond's name continues to hold weight among fans of the VHS era and classic productions of the 1980s and 1990s. She remains a symbol of the boldness and individuality that defined that era. Her induction into the Hall of Fame solidified her reputation as one of the greats. For collectors and longtime enthusiasts, Debbie represents a golden era of filmmaking that combined glamour, experimentation, and personality-driven performances. Even though she has chosen to live a private life since retirement, retrospectives and documentaries about the industry frequently reference her as one of the most memorable stars of her time. Conclusion. Debbie Diamond's story is one of ambition, intensity, and lasting influence. From her beginnings in Los Angeles to her rise as one of the defining figures of late 1980s and 1990s film, she built a reputation for strength and individuality. Her career was marked by awards, iconic performances, and a style that stood apart from her peers. To this day, Debbie Diamond remains a name associated with confidence, artistry, and the unapologetic spirit of a performer who refused to blend into the background.